And next question is
what kind of property is there when we were during lockdown that you find they cannot sell? Because I see there's certain things that like just can't sold. Then we can teach our client or our future client how to avoid it. What is the red flag?
Look at historical area, like an example that is more open to this this crisis because of the tourism that decreased significantly, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe we talk a bit about different areas. Pure residential areas are safer, like South Bay, and the general residential areas in Lisbon, even in the north of Lisbon, all these areas like Setubal and everything, they are quite more protected, and areas like historical, like downtown, that they are very prepared for Airbnb. They can be more open to the eventual crisis, but. We can make this differentiation, but I understand what the message you want to pass is. Refer like a T1 for 500, or a T2 or T3 in South Bay can have a better income and much more.
If you buy it, you're not going to find a tenant, basically.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yes,
You're not going to find a tenant. One, you might not be able to resell.
Yes.
For the same price.
The best 1-2 years ago, or 3 or 4, when the downtown historical area was in vogue, there was a lot of investors investing in the historical area of Lisbon. There was a very nice strategy of management with the purpose of Airbnb. All the properties in the historical area that were sold with the purpose of serving the tourists, like service apartments in all the historical neighborhoods, were very attractive and very profitable for the investors. Also the companies that were really prepared to make the management and give a very professional service to the landlords managing their properties in this Airbnb market was a very profitable market, a very profitable location. Certainly more recently there's some changes in that location. Was new rules for service apartments. Local accommodation was not possible to be made. The market changed, and all of these properties must be listed in the medium long term rental. Suddenly all the market became flooded with properties that previously was advertised in Airbnb. So they created a significant income decrease. If we look into these locations and compare them with residential areas, with the normal residential areas, we see that the residential areas preserved their value in terms of income and give us a good idea, a good perspective of how safe it is to invest in residential areas.
I also see, like, this is in I talked about this in a previous video ages ago, and that's my opinion. Like what I find in Portuguese real estate market is villa. This is before COVID, all this. I always suggest to people, don't buy houses in Portugal, because to me, like coming from a UK real estate market, to invest, buy houses. Nobody buy apartment in the UK, and but what I find here in most cases anyway, like when imagine someone had a family of 4, may had a villa, and they were middle class and in a class neighborhood or B class neighborhood, and if they fail to pay the mortgage, or if they lose their job, and if any economic crisis, what they're going to do is sell their house and move into a smaller place, downsizing. We all do that, right? If you're having trouble. So I always think, don't buy a massive villa with a pool because maintenance is expensive. For that couple, if they struggle with the bills, the first thing to get cut is the water bill for the swimming pool, right? And I think it makes a lot of sense for our investor, of our client, not to invest in houses. A lot of people were like, why not? It sounds amazing. It's like, but if you're not going to come and live here, the safest bet I always say is buy B or C class neighborhood. Blue collar community where people work and jobs are not going to go away. I'm sound like a broken record. Like I always says, people who are bus drivers, nurses, teachers, these jobs are not going to go away.
Yes, I agree. If we look into a safe investment, if we focus that investment into the majority of the people, of the active people in Portugal, and if we search, if we select an investment that we don't need to invest too much or pay too much attention for maintenance and for take care, it can be more suitable. Basically, I understand the idea of a villa for some percentages of the market, some specific clients, but that will naturally depend. I have the opinion that the property itself, including all the costs, should not be occupy more than 20 to 30% of the annual income to be able to support all the other expenses. But if we are looking just for pure investment with a good and safe return, naturally a property focused on the medium class rental market, it will be more intelligent investment for the future.
That's a really big tip. 20-30% of that person's income.
Yes.
Your mortgage payment should not be more than 20-30%.
Yes, it's the ideal.
That's really huge, really. Yes. And they can't afford it. And if you look at a house that the mortgage payment, if it's 2,000 or 3,000 euro, majority of the population is not going to be able to afford it.
Yes, but it will depend on the income. If the income is really high, and naturally the income can also change in the future related to different situations. But to live, yes, I can look into a villa and recommend a villa to a client because it can give him a quality of life.
If they're going to move here and retire, that's entirely different thing.
Correct.
But to buy and invest and
an apartment well located in a residential neighbor near the public transport, with all the necessary facilities nearby, it is the most because what will attract them will attract also the tenants, and the tenants, what they look for is that it's comfort and a convenient location.
Last question is quite interesting. I find a lot of our Hong Kong clients love sea view.
Yes.
And pretty much when they see a sea view, they're like, is it essential? One. And is public transport that essential? Because a lot of people are asking, it needs to be near a train station, near metro, near underground. But is that really that essential? I always wonder that. Like, I get it. If you live in Hong Kong, like pretty much every 5 minutes you have a underground station. But is it essential for the Portuguese population?
The location and the services in that location are important. In terms of the view, yes, a river view or a city view, mountain view, it's always something more pleasant, and it's also a preference. It's not like mandatory. It's not one of the main requirements. Most of the buyers, they look into the house and what the house can offer to them, but an exterior space like a balcony and the view is really a must. We had found some good options with view in different locations, and naturally we see that they get the preference of the investors because they are a bit more rare. and they have that kind of plus that clients sometimes they look for. In terms of transports, in Portugal, the families, almost all the families, they have their own car. Sometimes they have two cars. But the public transport is very important because a big percentage of them, they use the car on weekends, and to travel from point A to point B, most of them use the public transport. So the distance to the metro station is important. To the bus station is important. All of that is a combination of factors that are think by the buyers. So that's why the good location with the good facilities in terms of public transport, in terms of supermarkets, of everything that we need in a daily basis, are the most wanted.
It's
properties.
considerable. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
You are.
Again, thank you.